This is your marketplace.
How in the world did this get on the market?
People are selling these devices hoping that customers aren't going to notice.
This is not a product that I would call refurbished.
Big mistake, big mistake.
Shocking revelations on your marketplace. We're going undercover.
And here we go.
Testing one of the biggest names in consumer electronics, Best Buy.
This is definitely rolling.
Just wondering what our options are.
Big tech often comes with a big price tag, but does a big break online come with risks? Thing is, Best Buy says their refurbished devices may be more reliable than new. They're vetted, grade A products. But not if you ask these customers.
No quality assurance at all there.
We were pretty pissed off.
Watch out when you're on the marketplace for this type of thing.
Your marketplace is going shopping on Best Buy's online marketplace to see if we find lemons in our lot of refurbished phones, laptops, and tablets. And we go in store too to see what employees tell us.
How can I help?
So I'm having some issues with some stuff that I purchased online.
It's the Best Buy Refurb Readout. We'll give you the lowdown soon. But first, in summer 2019, Joanne Nixon and her partner, Richard Horst, check out bestbuy.ca for a new tablet.
She wanted something more than just her phone to use to go on the internet, so I was looking for an iPad as a birthday gift.
They land on a refurbished iPad Pro and like the $800 price tag.
As far as I was concerned, I was on a Best Buy website. At the time, I wasn't thinking this is a third-party seller.
They were shopping on Marketplace, which means it is from a third-party seller. Within months, Joanne and Richard run into some tech troubles.
So you'd go to turn it on and you'd get like nothing. You just get the plug sign come on the screen. And so I would hand it over to Richie and say, you know, work your magic. He would reboot it, give it back to me, and it would work for a couple of days, and then it would do that again.
They try to get a refund, but the 90-day warranty period is over. They get no help from the seller. How do you feel?
We were pretty pissed off and
Yeah, annoyed. I mean,
annoyed, yeah.
It's not a fortune, but $800, you pay that for a product that you think will last a couple of years at least, and if it breaks down quickly, somebody's going to do something about it.
Yeah.
But here, nobody was willing to do that.
We're on the case. We start shopping on Best Buy's site for phones, tablets, and laptops. And we buy 4 of each from 12 different third-party sellers. Then we send them to tech experts to get the 411 and find out if they're in top condition and if they actually work. That's where we bring in Alex Sebastian. His company refurbishes and sells phones and tablets.
Here we are. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Asha. Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Nice to see you.
Alex has been in the business for 7 years and knows the tech market well. What are the advantages of buying refurbished tech?
I mean, there's really 2. The first one is price. A 2-year-old phone does everything that you or I would want it to do, and it can be half the price or less. And the second one is the environmental component. If you're buying a used phone, we're not mining those rare earth minerals again. We're avoiding all of that.
Extending the life of these devices is generally seen as a good thing. But Alex, who sells on Best Buy's site, says the refurbished market has some bad actors. Would you say some sellers are cutting corners?
Absolutely.
So what's happening?
It's either the seller is putting a phone in the market that hasn't been rigorously tested and letting the user figure out what's wrong with it, or the seller may be doing some low-quality repair work or using low-quality parts, and while that phone may initially work, it's not going to last.
Interesting. He explains how they'll test our devices.
So there's really 3 components. The first one is pretty straightforward cosmetic assessment. And then the second set that we do is 28 tests of core functionality. Does this phone work as expected today? And for the final set of tests, we're actually going to have a look under the hood. So that means taking off the screen and having a look inside for any evidence of low-quality repair work or low-quality replacement parts.
When you say you have a set of standards, did you come up with that, or is that something that happens across the board?
I mean, there's nobody setting a standard that everyone is adhering to in this business. And so refurbish is language that's thrown around a lot, and depending where you're buying, it's going to mean something different.
So it's over here. Let's meet our second tech tester. Hey, Maz.
How are you?
Good. Maz Kamani is tackling our laptop haul. His family has been repairing computers for more than 2 decades, and they've seen it all. What's the craziest laptop repair that you've had to do?
There's a lot of them, actually. So one that comes off the top of my head is a customer threw his laptop through the gap of the elevator.
What?
6 stories straight down.
And he was able to retrieve it?
He got it back, and he brought it in, and we were luckily able to get it working again.
You're like the laptop whisperer.
I appreciate that.
How will you test these laptops?
We're going to see if the specifications match what's internal to the computer, to see if the physical condition of the computer is good, and just run a basic test to make sure that all the parts are in working order.
While they start testing away, we head to Fredericton to meet Chris Dunstan.
I'm doing good. I'm not too bad, like a working phone.
He hit up Best Buy's site for a new phone back in December and finds a refurbished iPhone 7 that's certified. That means fixed and tested by the seller. And yet, he has issues immediately.
When I called my mother, first person I called on it, I'm talking away and she's going, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Then took the SIM card out and put it back in my old phone. And she could hear me no problem.
Maybe it was bad luck, so Chris buys another phone. But then,
Tried calling my dad for one, and my voice was distorted, crackling up.
Chris returns it for a third phone.
The fingerprint scanner was no good on it.
3 duds from 3 different sellers, and the hassle of dealing with returns.
Because I have a disability there, if I break down my car, it's not like I can get out and walk somewhere. One phone I bought it from Best Buy Marketplace. I told to return to Best Buy. I took it to Best Buy, they wouldn't take it. So I went home again, got a shipping label emailed to me from the seller, and I had to take it to a Pure Later depot.
He reaches out to us with his concerns. So do many of you. One viewer says she thought she was buying directly from Best Buy.
Best Buy has cornered the market and is so big, they can get away with anything.
Another says her refurbished headphones stopped working after just a few months.
Best Buy will do nothing to help me.
And another complains about a refurbished phone with a bad battery.
I am quite sure they don't check them over before they sell them.
Remember, these are products that Best Buy says might actually be more reliable than brand new. Our results are in. Time to connect with Alex. So you looked at all the devices that we brought you and you checked for cosmetic condition, functionality. You also opened them up and looked inside.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that all refurbished devices get that kind of check before they get into consumers' hands?
Almost certainly not, and I think the results of what we found here will show that.
Let's start with the phones. Looking at cosmetic condition, when you're dealing with the Note 9 and the iPhone XS, what did you find?
We found that they're in truly excellent cosmetic condition, very close to mint.
What about the iPhone XR and the J3 Prime?
So the iPhone XR, we found it was not in a refurbished grade. And the J3 Prime, it was kind of borderline in that respect.
I mean, there's some noticeable scratches on the back. Does that matter?
The customer receives that device and they look at the back, and for some reason they're very fixated on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think they certainly have a leg to stand on to say this is not in a condition that's consistent with refurbished.
And what about the XR?
So the XR, it has quite a bit more markings on the screen, which I think pretty clearly landed in a condition that is not refurbished.
But check out the website. There's no mention of scratches on the listing. The final conclusion about our phones?
I don't think that they had a proper cosmetic grading done before they were put up for sale.
Turns out 2 of our 4 phones don't meet his standard. Will the rest of our tech pass the test? Coming up, secrets from inside Best Buy.
Would you use the marketplace? I would.
Do you have a story you want us to investigate? Write to us, marketplace@cbc.ca. This is the Best Buy Refurb Readout. We've got a haul of refurbished devices from one of the country's biggest players in electronics to see if they're as good as new, like the company claims. So far, half the phones don't make the cut, and we've got more results coming in. But let's meet Barbara Otter from Prince George, BC. Her Best Buy story starts in 2020 with an iPhone for her daughter.
You buy it, you get it, then what? We bought it in September. It arrived within a few days. It worked perfectly fine until late January, so that was after the warranty had expired. And it was just really, really physically hot, and it wouldn't hold any charge.
There's more.
The surprise was when I took it to an Apple certified service provider, and the fellow ran the diagnostics on it and said, oh, according to Apple, this phone should be off market and should be decommissioned.
They basically told her it should have been destroyed because of a previous defect. A shocking revelation for Barbara.
They tell you the phone is decommissioned. I mean, what was running through your mind? So the question was not so much that the battery died, but how in the world did this get on the market? How many of them are actually out there? That's why I reached out to Marketplace.
We've got your back, and we have some more results from our tech tester, Alex at Orchard. So far, 2 out of the 4 phones we bought don't make the grade for cosmetic condition. But do the phones actually work?
Better news there. I mean, there was a clean sweep. All of the phones were fully functional.
All of the phones passed the look under the hood, too.
Let's talk about the tablets. So we've got the iPad, 2 Samsung Galaxies. This one's bigger. And then the iPad Pro. Cosmetic condition, what did you find with the tablets?
So in this case, the tablets all pass in terms of their cosmetic condition.
What about functionality?
On the functionality side, we uncovered a couple more problems, specifically with the iPad Pro and the Galaxy Tab A.
So tell me what's wrong with the iPad Pro.
The screen itself is a very good quality screen, but the workmanship when it was replaced is problematic. And the best way to demonstrate that is to press right here.
I hear it.
And what's happened here is the glue that bonds the screen to the frame hasn't been properly applied, and that's why you're hearing that movement. If this iPad is dropped, because it's not firmly in that frame, there is a risk over time that the screen could actually just come out of the body of the iPad.
That doesn't sound safe.
Not safe, not a good user experience either, no.
No.
On to the larger Samsung Galaxy Tab A.
Again, this tablet has had its screen replaced. When it was done, some pressure was applied to the back of the screen, and that has caused discoloration. It's in the form of bright spots.
Here's the final scorecard for our phones and tablets. All of the devices work, but 2 of our 4 phones don't make the grade cosmetically, and 2 of our 4 tablets have screen problems.
Do you think that there were proper checks and balances in place then?
I think that people are selling these devices hoping that customers aren't going to notice, and they may not notice, but that doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do.
Now for our results on those 4 laptops we got. Maz from ASK Computers is ready with our reveal.
Hey, Maz, good to see you again.
Likewise.
So let's just start with the cosmetic condition.
The Asus was probably had the most scratches on it, but there wasn't much to it. It was just more minor scratches. The display itself was fine.
Possible imperfections is mentioned online, but there are multiple scratches and scuffs. The specifications check out too, so we get what was promised.
The only minor thing that we saw was with the HP, some keys were not working, but we found out that that was just a minor software glitch.
Oh, okay, so all you had to do was update the software.
Correct.
When we're talking about hardware, you opened these up, you looked at them.
Right.
How did it look?
So the Asus specifically here had some minor repair done to it on the motherboard, but the other 3 didn't have any repairs done to them.
So in our group of 12, everything works, but it's definitely not grade A across the board. 2 phones with scratches, 2 tablets with sloppy screen replacements, and 1 laptop that's rough around the edges. So will Best Buy help us with these shoddy devices? Well, just take a listen to what Joanne and Richard say they heard in store.
Then we went to Best Buy in person, and we talked to people that worked in the store, and they all said, oh, never buy on Marketplace. Big mistake, big mistake. It's third-party sellers, and you never know what you're getting.
We're going into 5 stores to get some answers. Wonder what will happen when we tell them about our issues. Hidden cameras are rolling.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, because it's a third-party seller, we can't do anything in store at store level.
Okay.
It has to be done through their return policy.
With Marketplace, we won't be able to take it in store because it is not Best Buy inventory. Whenever you're doing the order, it means that this third-party vendor, we don't own them. They're just renting space on our website. Best I can do for you is send it out back to the vendor.
And what do you know? We get the same warning as Joanne and Richard.
Do I need to not be buying stuff from Marketplace anymore?
I wouldn't. I tell customers next time, just, filter it for Best Buy only and then buy brand new from Best Buy. Then you're getting what you're actually seeing on the website rather than, like I said, a refurbished item from a company that fixed something but didn't fix it properly, and then they're sending it out to people for cheaper, right?
Would you use the Marketplace? I would. No? I would if it's not sure.
Is the moral of the story leave Marketplace alone?
I personally, I don't buy from there. Try to buy open box in stores or try to buy open box online. Well, not Marketplace. Because you don't know what you're buying, right?
Marketing professor Marcus Giesler specializes in consumer research, especially when it comes to tech.
The risks that were traditionally carried by Best Buy are now sort of shifted forward onto sellers and consumers. And that's never good news.
We want to get his take on our results, so we show him our problematic phones.
Should this have even been sent out to us?
I would say no.
Lots of nicks and scratches on the front screen.
Wow. Yeah. Once again, this is not a product that I would call refurbished.
And he checks out our troublesome tablets.
So there are bright spots on the screen, and our expert believes it could be that whoever refurbished it and fixed it was putting pressure on it while they were replacing the screen, and perhaps that's what caused this.
This is the kind of stuff that you can't see on a website or even when you at first unpack the product.
Do you hear that?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Again, I'm shocked, I'm disappointed.
Then he has a look at our laptop.
You can see on the close-up here on this screen how many scratches there are and cosmetic issues. Right on the lid.
Absolutely intolerable.
Next up, our hidden camera video. What Best Buy employees tell us about their marketplace.
Do I need to not be buying stuff from Marketplace anymore?
I wouldn't.
I would if it's not being perfect.
The messaging here is you're essentially on your own. And you know what? You can do whatever you want. I wouldn't do it, but if you feel that this is safe and this is proper for you, do it. I wouldn't do it.
Because you don't know what you're buying, right?
If the Best Buy employees themselves don't have faith in the proper functioning of the marketplace, then I should probably steer clear as well as a consumer. This is a highly problematic situation that we hope Best Buy will look into.
Pro tips coming right at you, and Marketplace gets action. Get more Marketplace. Sign up for our weekly newsletter at cbc.ca/marketplace. This is the Best Buy Refurb Readout. Your marketplace gets the lowdown on refurbished tech from the company's online marketplace. Does it live up to their grade A promise? Here's a look again at the final scorecard. 2 phones with scratches, 2 tablets with sloppy screen replacements, and a rugged-looking laptop. We've heard from customers.
I felt betrayed by Best Buy.
Changed my outlook on the Best Buy marketplace big time.
It's just unfortunate that the phone shouldn't have been on the market.
Experts.
Best Buy needs to do better.
And even Best Buy employees.
With Marketplace items, you have to be careful.
Anything that says refurbished on the product, don't do it.
Now we want to hear from Best Buy. We share our results with them and ask for an interview. but they won't talk on camera. In an email, Best Buy says it's committed to operating with the highest standards and that our investigation prompted another round of scrutiny. They say they're training staff and developing better product descriptions on their marketplace so customers know exactly what they're getting. As for the third-party sellers in our investigation, we get a range of responses. Some offer refunds, some dispute our findings. Others say we got what we paid for. But look, buying refurbished can be good for your wallet and the environment. So we've got some pro tips for smart shopping.
Do your homework on these brands who are selling products. If you can't find anything on the brands, that's a huge red flag. If there's one review where somebody has had an extremely hard time, take that very seriously.
Search broadly. You know, try to bring in as many different marketplaces and providers as possible. Be aware that what you're being promised to is not always going to be delivered.
And if you've already purchased a device,
you can potentially download a manual, and the manual sometimes shows you that there are self-checks that you can do. With computers that don't have anything, what I would suggest is you can download freeware, free software. Those tests usually illustrate how strong or how effective the computer is.
And always make sure you know how long your return and warranty periods last. Look out for shipping and restocking fees too, in case you have to send something back. Joanne and Richard wish they had those tips before buying this fried iPad.
How do you feel holding it, knowing what you've gone through over the last year or so?
Well, it's frustrating.
Maybe we should hide it so we don't have to think about it.
Joanne, why did you reach out to us at Marketplace?
If we can help other people not get ripped off, that would feel good. At least that would be something good that came out of it.
Well, they're feeling pretty good right now. After we tell Best Buy about their case, the company agrees to give them a new iPad.